Hey guys, hope everyone's well. I haven't done an intro for this video, but pretty much going to walk you through what's going on in this video. I'm going to do all the motor work that I have done recently to my motor, and then also spray my engine bay and make my engine mounts and gearbox cross member. So let's get into it. Alright, so currently I'm pulling my motor sort of down. I've got to put cams in it and valve springs. So as you can see, I'm taking the cams out at the moment, timing case off, timing covers off, and also the water pump. And once I'm done that, we'll see what's up next. Sorry about the time lapse, it's a little bit annoying, but I would literally be videoing for ages trying to get all this done. So at the moment I've pulled that exhaust cam out. Now I'm pulling the intake cam out of it as well. I've now started setting up my tool to remove all the valve springs. So as you can see, what that tool does is pushes the valve spring down so you can pull it and the retainer out. And once I get all of them, sort of as I pull them out, I'm doing them one by one. You'll see in a minute when I pressurize the valve, the cylinder, so the valves don't actually drop down into the motor whilst I undo the valve spring and the retainer that holds the valve up. So as you can see, I'm just plugging my air line in now, and I've started to do, I think maybe number 1 or 2 cylinder. So it's all coming apart now. Alright, so I've got the motor pretty much back together. I've just put the valve springs and retainers into it, and now I'm just fitting the cams up, so we'll keep going with this. Alright, so now all the valve springs and retainers have been replaced. I'm putting on my intake cam in at the moment, as you can see. I'm going to torque that down, and now I'm checking the valve clearances, and that actually just checks where the lobe and the bucket is in correspondence. I don't think I need to change anything on the intake side. As you can see, I'm torquing up the exhaust side now, and now I'm checking all the exhaust clearances on that side. I think I did have to change one shim on number 4. One of the buckets on that had a little bit too less of clearance, so I changed that one out. Now, as you can see, I'm doing all my head studs. So I've just taken the head bolts out one by one. This is a little bit of a dodgy way to do it, but you can be done this way. Usually I would just remove the head and have the head skimmed and clean the block up and put it all back together, but I didn't want to take the head gasket off this as it is a metal one from the factory, so I just did them one by one. So what I'm actually doing now is fitting my coil pack bracket, and that holds all the GDR35 coil packs in place.
Just have a look at it. Look,
Oh, shiny red.
got it coiled and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, Jim, just look at it.
Oh my god.
So bad. That's what he usually say.
Alright, I don't know what that was, but we have gotten deep into the motor, and everything has been swimmingly, running swimmingly, smoothly, silky, and until I went to put the timing belt tensioner bracket on, and see that little bolt hole right there? Yeah. that's where you bolt it. And as I went to bolt it in, the thread kind of just fell apart. So now I've had to take everything apart, and by that I mean the oil pan off and the baffle off as well, which is there. That's the baffle. And now I'm going to drill it out and put a helicoil in it. But I do have the new coil packs in, the cams are in, the valve springs and retainers are in. Yeah, this is where I'm at. So I'm going to fix this up now, Mark Johnson it back together, and then, yeah, I'll talk to you guys once that's done. Alright, so we got the oil pump drilled and tapped, and then we fitted a helicoil to it. Hardest part was I didn't want to take the sump off, so I ended up having to clean a lot of the sump out with brake cleaner and sort of compressed air and cleaned it all out as good as I could. So yeah, now it's nice and squeaky clean. Put the sump back on and everything's sealed up. So now we've pretty much got a motor that looks like a motor. It's all back together, it's all timed. Sorry I haven't filmed this entire process, guys. I've tried to do a lot of time lapses. My light's just turned off, and yeah, it actually takes a long time to actually set my camera up to film everything. Like, you wouldn't think that it sort of does, but if I set my camera up to film everything, it takes like so much longer because I got to set it up, make sure it's all good, and film it, stop it, film it. So I'm hoping to sort of do the rest of the build, you know, filming all the rest of it, fitting into the car, making engine mounts, gearbox cross member, making my exhaust and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, at the moment, I'm just going to put this ATI harmonic balancer together. So I'll walk you guys through that and film that. First time I've ever done it. And then we'll fit that onto the motor, and we'll then just sit the timing cover back on and we'll be done. So, one cool thing I did want to show you guys is that with this coil pack setup, what I thought was actually really cool is just here is usually like a little breather, and there as well, and it goes to this side here, and then also this side down here. You can probably just see that there and there, but that actually comes with the kit, and it deletes the breathers off the top of the motor. It makes it look that much tidier. What is up, my chiggers? So I've completely forgotten to film any of this, and I'm sorry you don't get to see the whole process, but I'm ready to spray the bay on my car. I have the car outside and everything's sanded back. All the holes have been welded up, except for the holes I'm going to use, and grinded back. And now I've just sanded it all back, waxed and greased it, and I'm about to spray it. The colour I'm spraying it's called Volcano Black. That's also the colour I'm spraying the car, and I'm going to put a lot of purple flake in it as well. So we'll see how this turns out. Alright, just got the third layer of base coat down. Can't really see the colour at the moment as it's kind of flashing off really fast, which is great because I'll start spraying the clear soon. But yeah, that's all this side done. That's my third layer of paint. Last layer I went really thick and heavy with, so now I'll go clean the gun out, mix some clear up with some flake, and the colour should really pop. So yeah, see you soon. Alright, just sprayed the last thick layer of clear. Super hard to see, almost looks brown on the camera, but it is super glittery purple. You really can't tell, almost looks maroon. See if I can walk over to a better angle. That's a bit of a better one. I'll show you guys in the sunlight tomorrow, but glad there's one more piece of the puzzle down. Hi everyone. So I'm making my engine mounts today. I was hoping to get my my motor and gearbox inside the car, but I've just realised I don't actually have flywheel bolts. So what I'll do is I'll make the engine mounts up, and then I've got to get actually an SR cross member and modify that to go in the car, as I've got an RB21 in there at the moment. And what I was planning to do is actually jig these mounts so that you guys can, in the future, if anyone's putting an a 1 or 2J, I think it might only fit the 2J because I think the mounts might be different on the 1J, but you know, if you guys are doing in the future, putting into an S chassis, it'll bolt up. So I'm going to jig that mount and then I suppose sell it. So it's going to be an easy process for the rest of the world to do if they want to do it. So what I've done so far is I have taken off the factory mount. This is the factory mount. And I went and bought some plate yesterday from this metal company around me. So I've measured up what I need to do and sort of cutting it in the bandsaw. So I've cut this one side plate already and marked all the holes and drilled them. So that's sort of how the plate's sitting at the moment with the factory bolts in it. And then I'm going to lower this into the car with the other side, the plate done, and lower it down to exactly where I need to be. And then, yeah, I'm going to jig the mounts from there and then weld them out. And then, yeah, it'll be good to go. So I'll show you guys this entire process. What's up? Pulling the cross member out of my car at the moment. About to put the SR cross member in. I did have an RB20 cross member in there before, but if I'm going to make these mounts to suit 2J into S chassis, I figure I better make them for an SR cross member, and then that way you guys can just buy it and put them straight onto your cross member. So yeah, just pulled the cross member out of it now. I've got the SR1 modified. I modified that today and to move the rack forward. So now I'll put it in the car and then sit the motor in here on the engine crane and mock up these mounts. So yeah. Alright, so I kind of got a little bit preoccupied because I wanted to get this engine mount off, but to get this off I have to take this get up off. What that does is actually runs water through there and oil through here and then water through the top. And what it actually is its purpose for is to balance the oil and water temperature and get both of them to operating temperature as fast as possible. So for those who didn't know what that was, that's what it is. So yeah, I have to take that off to get this engine mount off, and then I've now taken the whole intake side off because I was like, oh well, I may as well put my injectors in now. So I'm about to put the rail in and the injectors, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all these like water lines under here. There's actually not many on the J, so a lot more in on the RBs. But this water line here is the main one I'm kind of going to delete this whole sandwich plate sort of setup, and then run an oil cooler on there. And what I'm going to do with this line here is it sort of follows around the back here, and it actually normally goes into this pipe also. So I'm probably going to delete it, cut this off just before here. Sorry you can't see it, it's a bit dark, and weld an AN fitting on there. And then I'm going to probably buy another one of these press-in fittings and weld an AN fitting onto that, and then I'm just going to like make up myself like a braided line to sort of come down and into that way the water is sort of still circulating into the head, and then that will still be like a live gallery in the head, and that'll also sort of connect all the way around to this side of the motor as well. So yeah, I do want to keep that live, keep the head as cool as I can. But the last thing you want to do on a track day is blow a water line that's under all this crap. I mean, it looks like it's out of the way now, but once the intake manifold's on and it's in the car, like, it's so hard to get to this stuff, and then you got to wait for the car to cool down because it's hot and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to delete all that now. So this is what it looks like, and this is all sort of the hardware I've taken off. And these are all the old J parts in this box. If you do need some J stuff, some standard stuff, a lot of it's, you know, brand new still because the stuff I didn't use. So yeah, if you do want some stuff, jump on my Instagram, and I usually post it on there or on my Facebook. So yeah, I'll keep going with this and show you guys what it looks like afterwards. All right, late night. Turn this on so you guys can see. Motor is in. Got to touch up the engine mount a little bit tomorrow, but it fits in there great. I've never run a strut brace before because I've never been able to fit it. And yeah, I've got it as low as I can possibly get it. It's about a centimetre away from the actual sump hitting on the cross member. It would be cool to actually notch the cross member so I could lower it down even more, but I'm pretty happy with how this sits. So it's pretty late right now. Get my phone out and show you guys the time. 1:48. I am so ready for bed. But I'll show you guys more in the morning when I come in. And then hopefully we'll have the gearbox mounted on tomorrow. And I can measure up the tail shaft and get that sent off to the tail shaft shop. So yeah, let's keep smashing it out. Alright guys, so what you're seeing now is my clutch on, and next is my gearbox on. If you want to see that, it'll be in the next video. See you soon.